Remember all the fun and joy of your favorite game or childhood toy. If only you could feel that way again, again, again. Well, you don't have to go back in time, 'cause Nick and friends can help you find long lost treasures you once loved. Let's go hunting nostalgia.
Welcome to Hunting Nostalgia. Today, I am at the Starlight Drive-In. What is more nostalgic than a drive-in? And this place has been here since the 60s. The 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, drive-ins was the place to be. And yeah, they are going away. These places don't exist as much as they should. This is how you watch a movie. Every single time I see a drive-in, I think of, haha, I know you ever one of mine. Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure. Every single time I'm in a drive-in, I feel like I'm Pee-wee. I feel like I'm Pee-wee rather often, but regardless, today I'm a few miles down from the Butler Clearview Flea Market. And I am going there because last time I was filming, there was a man there who caught me at the end. And he said, hey, I heard you like wrestling. Anytime somebody says that, starts piquing my interest. His name is Mike, and he has a little stand in the Clearview Flea Market, and it's called Mike's Stuff. It has political buttons, it has knives, it has nostalgia, it has crazy items that you wouldn't believe. So we're gonna stop in there to see Mike, because I've already bought one round of his collection, so I cannot wait to see what is in this second round. I'm so intrigued. Special items that I've never seen before, but the one I want, the big item, is I know he has a 1985 LJN 16-inch Hulk Hogan with the championship belt. I can't wait any longer. Come on, let's get on the hunt. What do you say?
And now, on with the show.
The last time I was here at the Clearview Flea Market, I wasn't on a specific hunt. I was just scavenging for whatever I could find. Today, though, I am here for a very specific reason. Finally, people are setting up tables outside, which is awesome. I love it. But today, I want to introduce you to someone who I purchased an awesome collection off of. His name's Mike, and he actually has a shop inside of the flea market, which is a little bit warmer in there. I know it looks beautiful, but it's still a little chilly out today. But I want to introduce you to him, and I want to show you what goes into this, what these vendors deal with, what they do, and I want to show you the stuff that doesn't get here, the stuff that you never get to see. So I want to introduce you to Mike. Let's take a trip inside the Clearview Flea Market.
Ooh, 5 cents each. Junk. Junk. The airplane's upside down. Stratohoovius.
Here it is. This is Mike's booth. Mike's Stuff. This is where I met Mike, the guy who sold me the first batch, the most pristine batch of LJN wrestling figures I have ever seen, and Hasbro wrestling figures as well. But I want to introduce you to Mike. I want to give you a glimpse into his world and the stuff that he has for sale, which is awesome, awesome stuff. Political buttons, knives, different, just everything, lighters, just Mike. Here's the man himself. Where did this come from, man?
40 years of collecting.
40 years of collecting. Well, I was telling them, the viewers of Hunting Nostalgia, that I have already bought one round of amazing wrestling toys off of you. And I see right behind you, you have some old, I think 1997 juice boxes.
Right.
See,
They had the good wrestlers on them.
that's right, but you loved wrestling before it was even mainstream.
Oh, yeah.
Like you liked going to high schools and watching Bruno Sammartino, Dominic DeNucci.
All the old wrestlers, the good wrestlers, you know, the old time wrestlers.
And then when
In my generation.
in your generation, well, that's when wrestling was the most real thing in the world. I mean, Bruno Sammartino was just as respected as Muhammad Ali, the boxing champion of the world.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? I would have loved to have seen those two go at it.
Yeah, it would have been something different.
But so whenever those wrestlers came out in the mid 80s, you bought them just because you liked them.
Well, they were sort of like, at that time, they were like, up on a pedestal for entertainment.
Right. Oh, it was. It was the top. In the 80s, whenever wrestling and rock and roll, when Captain Lou Albano and Cyndi Lauper joined forces, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It exploded. That's when WrestleMania began. And the first set of items that I bought for Mike, they were unbelievable. You're going to see those a little bit later on. But you have another batch. You called me up and said, Nick, I found some more wrestlers.
Yeah, they were hiding on me, but we got a hold of them.
How many you got? Do I need to bring help?
Oh, definitely. You better bring your brothers with you.
Bring them? All right. Hey, I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be unbelievable. But I just wanted to stop here to show the beginning of the journey. Because you're allowing me, which I appreciate, to go scavenge around a little bit like a rat in your storage unit. But, some of those items that are even in these storage units that all these vendors have, sometimes they don't make it here to the booth. But you're pulling back the curtain just a little bit for me.
Definitely.
Which I greatly appreciate. Well, thanks, Mike. I just wanted people to see what this was all about. You can come here every Sunday and you can buy something amazing from Mike's booth. Mike's stuff. It would help if I held it the right way, wouldn't it? Sorry. Thanks, Mike. Let's head down. Or you know what? Before we go there, I can't think of a more perfect time for you to take a moment of nostalgia with Elvira Taylor.
Thanks, Nick. I'm Elvira Taylor from the Doll Circle, and I'm in a special location. I'm at Davies Toys, located in Longwood, Florida, and we're going to be looking for wrestling figures, particularly female wrestling characters, because I want to talk a little bit about the history of female wrestling. Alright, so I have a lot of characters to look at, but today I'm particularly looking, like I said, for female wrestlers, and I found one here in his store. This is Blaze, and I can't believe that she was a 3-time women's champ, which is crazy, and her longest reign, which I read on the box back here, was 342 days, so that's pretty epic, and I love that. One thing though, fun facts about some of female wrestling, we've changed and evolved over the years. You just recently in 2016, they went from being called divas to now being called superstars. I like that. It gives a little bit more equality within the wrestling realm for female and male wrestlers. Now, female wrestling isn't something new. If you go back into the 80s, we have some of the one of the most classics, Moolah. I mean, she literally changed what we thought of traditional wrestling, which was a male-predominant sport, and to some light it still is a little bit, but with the superstars now, they're really getting in and doing main matches, because before, female wrestling was kind of always the side thing, or the little bit before the main event. So I'm liking that now that with the superstars, we're changing it up a little bit and giving women a little bit more of the forefront when it comes to wrestling. But before Moolah, Mildred Burke actually was one of the first female wrestlers in the 50s. So going back all the way in the 50s, we had some type of female representation in wrestling. Now, wrestling, like I said, has evolved over the years. I mean, we have everything from the mid-2000s, which in my opinion is one of my favorite eras. Now, there are some other revolutionary female wrestlers out there. For example, like Lita, she actually wrestled with the guys and won a lot of titles. I mean, she's wrestled even up against Stone Cold. And then going into someone like Chyna, who to me was very iconic, that's one of the female wrestlers that I personally really loved. I mean, like I said, she wrestled against the guys, and that is awesome that in a sport that is male predominant, they're going up right with the guys. Now, as we go into 2021, we have so many new female wrestlers, some that have been around for a few years and some that are just breaking through. We have ones like Trisha Dora, Heather Monroe, so there's a lot of new faces out there that are breaking through, and I have to really give it to some of the wrestlers from the years prior breaking in for us. But I'm interested though, what are some of your favorite era of female wrestlers? Was it the mid-2000s? Was it Chyna, who honestly, like I said, is one of my favorite. I remember my friend Rob and I watching Chyna just being wowed and awed by her presence and her stance on the stage. And then, like I said, or is it maybe somebody more classic like Moolah, or, you know, even Mildred Burke, if you remember her from the 50s. Now, I'm not just a female wrestling fan. Some of my favorite wrestlers are going to definitely be like Undertaker, and one that not too many people talk about is Gangrel, and I would love to find a figure of him. Now, I'm so lucky at his shop. He's got these bins of just mixed toys. I get to dig through and see if I can find my favorite wrestler. So I couldn't find any Gangrels, but I did find Sheamus, who, as you can see, he's had a little love here. He's been very well played with. Whatever happened to him? I'm gonna have to research him because he was one of my favorites too. Now, wrestling has had a very interesting past. I mean, we've even had weddings on there, which is like mixing a little bit of that soap drama that we love, also with love the sport. And then we've had so many iconic fights. Like, look at some of these VHS tapes. They're so cool. And look what happens. Like, oh my gosh, Hulk Hogan, one of the best, one of the legends right here. This is so amazing. Make sure to check me out on social media at The Doll Circle, and also check out Davy's Toys here in Longwood, Florida. Follow him on Instagram. See what goodies you can find at his store. And also, like I said, comment and send me comments through social media. Let me know what you think about female wrestling, wrestling in general, and the evolution of where it's going. I mean, like I said, there's been so many changes over the years, but I don't think it's going anywhere. If anything, I think wrestling is here, and to quote one of my favorites, it's like, wrestling is not fake. Back to you, Nick.
Well done, Elvira. I love the fact that you show a different view of collecting than I do. That is very, very important. This second batch of items is so big today, I brought my brothers with me to lug it out. PJ and Josh. And
even dumber.
Now, how's that supposed to make us feel? So, I am so excited about this because the last time I purchased a collection off of Mike, it was filled with surprises and it was filled with pristine figures. That is what was so awesome, is that Mike as an adult started collecting these toys. And you know, it was kind of hard to envision him rolling around on the floor with the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, but he opened them and he displayed them, so they stayed pristine. So what I'm coming here for today is to take a look at this second batch of stuff. But there's one item that I know is here, because Mike already told me. This here is my 1985 LJN 16-inch Hulk Hogan. He's in really nice shape. Now the one that Mike has is in pristine shape, but Mike's has that championship belt. And I would never ever look through anything with anybody not observing me. I know, trust me, I know. So what I want to decide, I want to see which Hulkster is nicer. I want to see which Hulkster is going in my display. Which one gets the title? And I want my brothers to help me, because you need a different eye to look at different things, you know? So let's see which Hulkster gets to join the rest of my collection for the rest of their lives. I cannot wait. Holy moly, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. Now, can you believe this is the second batch of stuff I'm buying off of Mike?
Unbelievable.
This is the second batch. He said, you know, I think I may have some more. Wow, he wasn't kidding at all. Now, what is neat about this is pulling back the curtain just a little bit from these flea market vendors, from the consignment shop vendors, even garage sailors, you know. Some items, just like this, from Mike's inventory, you know, they may never actually make it to the stand. But I'm kind of glad this stuff didn't, you know what I mean? So I can see that you guys have already found some items. Wow.
This has got to be one of the coolest things.
What? You have got to be kidding me. 1985 WWF Wrestling Superstars sealed puzzle. This has never been opened. Oh my gosh, look at, we got Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. We have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. We have Tito Santana. And we got one of my favorites there, brother. We got the JYD. We got the Junkyard Dog. Ho, ho. How many times have you guys heard that voice?
Couple times.
Too many times. You know, whenever we were kids, I had bunk beds here with TJ, and I used to talk like Bret Hart. I'd say, Owen, are you awake, Owen? Owen. And if he would fall asleep, I'd kick up on the bed to wake him up. You remember that?
How could I forget?
How could you forget?
He'd make me stay awake and ask him trivia questions until he fell asleep. That was the deal. I'd be on the top bunk.
So I passed out.
Whenever I'm glad that they were a little bit older than me.
He didn't have to deal with that. Wow. Okay, so the puzzle's amazing. I see we have found Hogan here, but in the 1980s, wrestling toys were about to explode. Okay, so in 1984, Remco got the license to AWA, Galoob got the license to WCW, and LJN thankfully got the license to WWF. It was so dramatic. It was a huge battle to see who was going to get to make that Hulk Hogan figure. You know, it was a big, big deal. The first Hulk Hogan figure was actually made by Remco for Rocky III, the movie, you know, but he quickly moved on to the WWF. So Vince got a stranglehold on all of the competition. You were not able to find find WCW figures in Toys R Us. The only thing you were finding in Toys R Us was the WWF. Just like now, how really the WWF is the only wrestling company, then they were the only toy company. And it was crazy. I had to go to Family Toy Warehouse and KB Toys to find items like the Nature Boy Ric Flair from the old San Francisco toy makers, you know? You couldn't find them in Toys R Us, but thankfully we had a lot of toy stores back then, not like now where there are none. Look, right there, Josh, in your hand. That's a KB Toys exclusive, right there, because they couldn't be at Toys R Us. Isn't that crazy? You know, like did that kind of stuff happen? I see some other really neat items that I loved. I wasn't a big, massive reader as a kid. But, you know, I did convince my mom every year to renew my WWF magazine subscription, and every year she would ask the same thing. Do you read these? No. I looked at the pictures like crazy, though. I'll tell you that. But these, it's a shame that the Toys R Us sticker has been peeled off of these, but these were from book fairs at schools. Everyone remembers getting their book fair pages. It was either Troll or Scholastic, and you got to circle the ones you wanted. Well, these were the ones that I always got. And it's crazy that Mike was able to preserve these for 30 years. You know, it's absolutely crazy. But here, oh man, look at these. They are awesome. These were the Hasbro, the 15-inch Hasbro, 1990. Hasbro got the license for WWF, and they changed two things. They made the LJN smaller, and they gave them at minimum 4 points of articulation. They could move. They were playable toys. You know, these are really, really awesome. All right, it's time to get down to business. Here it is. This is the decision that we need to make.
The Hulkster Showdown.
This is the showdown of the Hulksters, brother. One of these is going in my display, okay? This one here is Mike's. This is the one I'm buying today, and it is like it just came out of the box. Look at everything. It's pristine. It is truly unbelievable, okay? My Hogan's pretty nice as well, but there are very subtle but very, very meaningful differences in these two guys. Same wrestler, same company. But do you guys notice the difference? Do you see it? What do you see?
I mean, the first thing to me is the boots and the tights. They're two different yellows. I don't know what's better.
This one's a little green.
Yeah.
It's a little green. Now that's Hulk Hogan yellow right there, definitely. Brother. You know, and mine's a little bit, it's not quite.
Too much time in the bath.
Too much time. Too much time in the bath. That could be. What about you? What do you see? What is the difference you see in these two exact, you know, seemingly exact same figures? What do you see?
What caught me at first really is just the eyes. The eyes, the one Hogan are looking higher and they're a little darker. And then that brings you right up to the headband too.
Yes.
You see the subtle differences in the headband, but they're kind of big once you look a little closer.
Oh, they're huge differences. You know, my Hogan bandana, sweatband, that's what I remember Hogan's sweatband looking like. Not like this. This looks like it was like on a typewriter or something, you know what I mean? It almost looks like LJN maybe got a little bit lazy, you know? It may be a slam dunk for most people. I'm taking the one that's pristine. Not for me. Not for me. This one here is more Hulk Hogan, like the text on the shirt, the bandana, everything. This is more Hulk Hogan. And you know one thing I noticed about these two guys? The brand new one, his face looks just a little bit chubby. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, isn't that weird? You have a chiseled jawline right here. And then on the other side, he looks like he had a little bit too many stops at the candy store, just like me.
Hogan after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm safe to say, I think we made the decision. My original Hogan with his nicks and his scrapes, he's going home with that title. He's going home with the belt. Yes, we made our decision. I got it. You know, there's too much to show here. You know, there's too much to show.
There's a lot.
But what else did you guys find in here that you know that I can't live without, that I cannot?
One item that is awesome. It's too cool. You may fall over. Look, Hogan. On, baby.
Wow, look at that. Oh my gosh. So this is you know what? This is going in the Hunting Nostalgia studio. This will be how we turn our lights on. Wow, is that neat? And you know, oh my gosh, look at that. Still has the original hardware on the back. Isn't that crazy? It's just absolutely nuts. Oh my gosh, look, there's more in this. How could you guys have not shown me this little baggie? Oh man. Who better to keep your chips nice and fresh than Andre the Giant in his little tiny underpants? Okay, so in 1990, like I said, Hasbro got the license for the WWF toys, and they came out with so many awesome things, including the big talking wrestlers, but I know you guys remember these. I'm so excited, you guys. You remember these are squirt guns. Animal from the Legion of Doom. This is a squirt gun. It's 1990 Air. 100. All right. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna do it again. No, in all seriousness, I appreciate Mike allowing us to come here to buy this, to let me scavenge around and search through his life, really. I mean, this is truly his collection, which it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it, and I've seen thousands of collections. I want to see your collection, you know? I want to see as many as I can. Anything else, guys? What does this make you feel? Now, this is
Hunting nostalgia.
there you go. Wow. That's right. Well, this is hunting nostalgia.
You bumbling bitch geek blew it!
What? Oh my gosh. The Bartley boys just couldn't get that ending, could they? But that's all right, because the show is not over. Right now, we are standing in the 350 square foot future hunting nostalgia studio. By the end of June, you're gonna see some awesome stuff filmed here. I cannot wait to show you. But there's something else I wanna show you right now. As you saw earlier in the episode, Elvira found some amazing WWF Coliseum home video VHS tapes. And I gotta admit, when I saw that clip, I thought, oh my gosh, I hope they're still at Davy's Toy Store down there in Florida. But within a few days, they just arrived at my doorstep. That is the world of collecting that I live in. That's the world of collecting that I just love being a part of. You gotta see these. So, whenever I was a kid, I would go to a little place. It was a pharmacy, grocery store, convenience store. It was called Farmore. And they had an awesome huge rental section. And I would go in and I would rent WrestleMania 4 because it was the longest. It's a double tape, you know, double VHS. So I knew that was the most for my renting experience, you know. But one thing that I didn't know, because this was in like a clamshell, one of those hard clamshells, because they didn't want people messing up their cardboard boxes. I never knew that this existed. Look at that. It's a Hulk Hogan pop-up case. That is amazing. I mean, it doesn't get more impressive than that, does it? I mean, this is so cool. But she sent these to me just because she knew that I would love them, which I do. For years and years, I collected VHS tapes. I had no idea DVDs were gonna wipe out my collection, but that's all right, you know? Stuff like this doesn't exist anymore. She sent me WrestleMania 5, when the mega powers collide. Look at that. It's these boxes, and on the back it shows you the cards. That is what's so amazing about these. I love that graphic, just seeing that, you know? And one of my all-time favorites, my first crush ever in my entire life, was the beautiful First Lady of Wrestling, Miss Elizabeth. 1991 SummerSlam. This is nostalgia. But I want to show you something now that is very, very special. It's the first batch of LJN wrestlers that I purchased off of Mike. The first time that I went to his storage unit. And I'm going to show you that. We put together a little show here for you. But what you're about to see is the first batch of the LJNs that I purchased from Mike. And you're going to see those right now.
Country Club. That's a pretty nice sweatshirt. Is that Under Armour?
It is.
I would wear that. It's pretty nice.
I mean, if you're looking for a nightgown, it might be a little big on you. You could probably use it for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks like you're swimming in it.
Yeah, it's nice and snug.
Does Susie know you're wearing her pants? That's right. You don't get one over
I do
on
wear the pants.
Yeah, right. Hey, nothing in your pockets. Nothing in your pockets.
Trying.
There ain't nothing fitting in those pants.
He'd make me make up trivia questions.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling trivia questions until we fell asleep.
Until I passed out. Oh my gosh. Oh, look.
Whenever I'm glad that I did not grow up in the same age. Crap, son of a gun.
That's all right. He messed up.
Did you just screw up? Did you just screw the whole shot up?
I'm playing that line for
Never. Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't grow up
Never
in that
inviting you again. Do any woman's sweatshirt.
You know, this is my era. Look at the joy this brought me. The Wrestling Superstars
Wait a
era.
minute. Where did you get that at?
I had it in my pocket.
You always carry pictures of yourself as a kid in your pocket?
Of course I do.
You're such a
You've known me long enough.
literally a weirdo. I don't even know what I'm doing.